Okay. Hi, wonderful world. It's Ushma and me again. um, we were just trying to pick a topic, and what we decided, we were having such great conversation. We decided we'd just leap into the conversation and see where it takes us. And but one of the things we were talking about, two different things. One was super quantum innovation, and the other was the ease and grace and simplicity of the new magic. And so, I was talking about how for me, right now, I can't even use the words running my business. Those words kind of go out of my mouth. They sound like such low vibe words, but essentially that's what I'm doing. But it's more and more effortless by the day. I used the example of like we did fairly good income in January, and then I remember having the thought, oh, well, we're okay for a little while then. And boom, everything stopped. So I have a thought, the whole field responds now instantly. And so then we were on like day 9 in February. And I said to Centauri, gee, we've only made like this tiny little bit of money in the last 9 days. That's unusual. Let's just line up for good stuff, whatever. And the next morning, £1,000 was in my bank account. Like, unexpected, amazing, but from one person, like unsolicited, all of it. And I think, well, that's kind of how this new magic kind of works, It's, but I so love what I do at the same time. I love coaching people. I'm loving doing new miraculous maestros group. I love doing our big consciousness work with the miraculous maestros, and I'm so filled with joy and appreciation and love and excitement. And I'm buying new clothes and, fixing the house up, and I'm just having a ball in my life. And here we are in lockdown in the UK, and it's freezing cold outside, but who wants to go out anyways, like, and I'm like having the best time ever in my whole life. It's pretty amazing when you look at it like that. So how about for you?
Yeah. No, I was saying that I can completely see that in you, and I can see things taking off to a whole new level. Yeah, and it's interesting for me. Magic came up, but it came up in a different way over the last kind of week or two, which is just the magic in everything. And I think that is part of this new that you're talking about, the ease of it, and that the fact that something isn't a business, there isn't a separation or like nothing is rigid like that anymore. So it is like the magic in everything, in the air around us, and seeing like things look a million times more beautiful. I've said that before, but even like I've been doing these sketches of faces, these portraits, and and it goes from this line drawing that looks like a cartoon type thing, and as I start shading, this thing comes to life, and it looks like, to me, that feels like magic. Like it's a flat piece of paper. Like, how does that happen? That suddenly like the nose pops out and you have like expression in the eyes, and it turns into something that has life in it. And I think, it's like that Einstein quote about either nothing's magic or everything's magic, and it depends how you see it. But I think we're experiencing it in a much more tangible way, and part of that is the complete surrender, like a complete surrender of everything, and in that, because before, like, if you needed to make money, you'd be like, I need to make money, and then your energy would go to how do I make money? What do I need to do to make money? Or how do I energetically bring it in? Or what's the block in me that's bringing it in? And stopping me from bringing it in? All those different places I look, or what happened in my childhood that I have a belief do I have that I can't bring it in? And what we've realized is it's so much more simple than any of that, Yeah. And it's the willingness to be able to let it all go, and relax and enjoy your day, and be in the moment that brings the magic. Like literally be in this moment now, completely, well, as completely as you can be, clear and free, and spontaneous.
I did a video for Magical Maestros this week on the capital M, capital A, capital G, capital I, capital C. Because magic sounds like a cutesy word, little fairies dancing in a field, you know, and what we're talking about isn't that. I suppose you could say it's quantum physics, but it's vibrational. You have to keep your vibration up, and that's effortless. Once you're there, it's effortless. You love life. Your eyes rest on something. You see beauty everywhere. You revel in sunshine. You revel in the rain. You revel in the snow on the ground, and it's just a state of being that you fall into. So vibrational is one thing, but also it's our relationship with what we call the quantum field. And the quantum field and consciousness, universe, all of that, it used to be there and we were here. And then you had to kind of make a connection to it and call something. But now the quantum field is this, all of the air we breathe, the earth, the universe, us, our physical bodies, our cells, our DNA. It's all going, because we've done a lot of work in our groups to merge that, to call it present, to give it life. Just like you're talking about the line drawing, we gave consciousness that kind of sentient, the universe, the earth, nature, gave it that kind of miraculous sentienceness, if that's a word. And it's the relationship with you as the field that makes it so easy and effortless. So every thought you think, every feeling you feel, the field responds instantly. And that means, in a way, I used to have to say to people, so you have to be careful where you're going. Can you pull out of that? Yes, probably. But for me, I have set myself permanently as the quantum field. So I wouldn't even want to pull out for no reason. So now it's not like I have to watch what I think. I have to be joyously aware of what I'm thinking and knowing that as I think it, that's what I'm sourcing. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying, I was looking at, am I popping in and out? I'm not popping in and out because I am it.
Yeah.
But I can experience other emotions and I can get drawn into, like I know when I've dropped.
Yeah.
And I know it's all about vibration and that I need to, like, I don't need to look at the reason I dropped, like, or the thing that came in that I looked at that caused me to drop.
Yeah.
It's better that I ignore that completely and just go to fixing my vibration and go back into the high vibe, however I do that.
I had an instance.
It all works out. Yeah.
I had an instance of that this week that I just mentioned to you, where a friend was about to do something that triggered something in me. I never said it to her, but there was like this grr in me about something that I knew had nothing to do with her. So I had to get Santari and say, can you work with me on this till I come to the bottom of it? But not bottom drop vibrational, but come to the
pop of it.
Insight, the pop, yeah. So saying the bottom of it isn't the right thing. It's the pop of it, where suddenly you understand exactly what it is. And then all that stuff just goes, when the pop happens, it just goes, becomes this bubbly, wonderful energy. And I could align completely then with my friend and what she was up to and be helpful, be easy. And it was all fine, that kind of thing. So it's really interesting. But I never, even when I was doing that, I wasn't the field. I mean, I didn't come out of the field.
No.
I still was the field. But I was aware I was having a moment and being responsible for it immediately, so I wasn't affecting the field around me. So here's another piece that's really interesting about that. I'm trialing something in the Magical Maestros group right now, because I've had 2 different people in the last 2 weeks ask me to energize them daily and pay me to do it. And I call that zinging people up, like giving them bursts of energy from the field. So I thought to myself, I don't know whether I'd want to make that a paying service or not. I'm not sure I would. So I'm going to do a pilot, a test with, I'll ask for 5 magical maestros to volunteer. And I will, for a week, every day, zing them up. And I did pre-assessment, like I asked them things where they could measure it. And then I'm going to ask them at the end of the week. And already they're kind of reporting like, oh, this is happening, that's happening. And I think to myself, it's not just the zing, the burst that I'm doing once a day. It's that I am a field of something. And once I agreed to do that with them, they are engaged in that field with me constantly.
Well, I know that for me, if I've asked you for something, like if I said, oh, can we do a call about something?
Yeah.
The thing starts shifting from the second I ask you, because we're in the field together then, and the thing starts already shifting before we even have the conversation. And the same with with a couple of other people in my life who work this way. It's like I just need to ask the question, and or even ask the question in consciousness, and I can feel us line up and something start to shift around it. So I think there is definitely something.
And I'm not saying that everybody would necessarily want to be that way with it, but it is my way. I remember years ago, people would say, oh, aren't you concerned about people kind of pulling on your energy all the time? Because I say, hey, message me anytime you need some help. I'll do that with everybody. And so I created myself as a field. I created Esler Greenfield. So that if they needed something, you could just tap that and people would message me, say, oh, you came to me in a dream last night. You really helped me. And I'm like, cool. I have no sense of that whatsoever. And I'm feeling good. So, but the other thing about it that's really interesting is operating as a field, whether it's the whole of the quantum field or whether it's you as a field, as a grander, greater field of something, is that you don't have to fuss about things, and you don't have to be pulled around in yourself. It operates differently as a field. I know this is a conversation that's kind of a bit out there, I suppose, for people, but everybody already is a field of energy. Everybody is. That's what we give off. But so some people's field of energy goes 3 feet out. Some people's field of energy goes the universe out, and all in between. And it's interesting to be able to recognize the magic that exists in the field. It's an invisible thing. That's why we call it magic. It's invisible and intangible while it's in the field. It's tangible once it actualizes. And that's one of the things that I think you and I and others like us have been playing with in this recent time, is how we engage and activate and exhilarate what's waiting in the field to bring it into our lives in effortless, magical, graceful, joyful ways.
And I think one of my things is about quantum creation and quantum innovation, and the newest new in creation and how it works. And it feels like I've been trying too hard, even in that. Now we're having this conversation. It's like, because I'm like, what is it? How does it work? How do we do things now? What, like, and it's like, actually, it's just an opening and doing an opening and unfolding, as like I can feel it in my body as I'm talking, as I go through life, and then allowing, I know I always say this, but sometimes it's like you need to remind yourself, and then from the energy unfolding, then getting the understanding of, oh, that's what happened, or that's how it works, or how that, and I think with this one, for some reason, I've been trying to go the other way with it and trying to work it out and then be able to do it, then be able to create from the working out, and it's not like that. It's
Yeah.
an unfolding of
Yeah,
something.
it's a kind of, as an example of that, I knew towards the end of last year that something new was going to pop into being, and I thought I'm going to get a little bit more kind of known in the world, but effortlessly, and I don't want to do it in the typical ways. I don't want to follow all that stuff and have all that social media and everything going. So, but then in January, I was just, things were just falling into place. And one day I went, I'm going to create a magical maestros group.
Mm.
That's what I'll do. Because I knew I'll make it a monthly membership group, and it'll be so much fun. That's how it's worked out, and I'm just loving it. I'm really enjoying it, and it is this new, effortless, fun ways of seeing that. I'm not trying to teach things. I'm trying to inspire and empower and uplift and elevate and exhilarate and suggest and open possibilities, but have them find their ways at the same time. So it was amazing how that just popped so easily into being.
Yeah.
Because, so for people like you and I, our game is a bigger game. Like, I'm not here to just live a nice personal life and have good income and eat good food and have a nice, relationship, stuff like that. Our game is the transformation of the world and the universe. If transformation is the right word anymore, it could be, it could be the quantum exhilaration, up leveling of the whole of life. That's a better way to probably say it. And when you have as your game a greater purpose, like that, purpose is even an old word for it, but you know what I mean. That when that happens and you are the field, everything rushes to support that.
Mm.
So it's the other, I guess that's the third point I'm making about this, is that when you get in the high vibe, you are the field, then you get up to something big, it comes to you. That's where the effortlessness comes.
Yeah. Okay. So that was one of the other things that came up for me this week, this whole purpose thing. Because it's so interesting. I completely agree. It's like you're in a vaster, expanded field. So what you're up to is always having a bigger impact, or having a bigger, it's about, words escape me. It's about it is vast, and you're not going to be doing something for the small personal you in the same way as a purpose. Like your purpose, anyway, blah. Like those things are activities. You might, they're not purpose. The things people call purpose, a lot of people call purpose, for us would be an activity, I think, not a purpose. And what it feels like is this vaster expands. Purpose isn't a singular thing anymore.
That's right.
It is a moment by moment thing, and it is you are truly multidimensional, although in the one moment you're the one thing in the one dimension, but in the next moment you can be something very different with a very different raison d'etre. Like you're what you're about can shift so quickly, and it's so dynamic. It's so dynamic. So it is being in multi-creational kind of beingness in a whole new way. Yeah,
because if I was going to say that too when you said it. A purpose is a misnomer anymore.
Yeah.
It's and even purpose is an old word to me. It's mega contribution on a quantum innovation scale. It's constantly dynamically altering, and I could apply it to anything. Like this minute I'll do that, the next minute I'll do that, the next minute I'll do that, next minute I'll go there, and And it's like you were talking about Elon Musk and the video you saw of him and how he works. And I love that video you shared about the 5 predictions he's made for 2021. Not predictions like psychic, but predictions like I'm at work on this and I'm going to turn it
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Yeah.
He's a super quantum innovator.
Mm.
So, for example, that self-driving car thing, that just amazed me. And there was several examples of that in that video. If anybody's listening to this, and you want to see it, it's on the Future Fantastic group on Facebook. It's on there. But when so, okay, self-driving cars. So what he didn't just create the car, he created a network associated with the car. So that if you want your car to make an income stream for you, you park it in the driveway, someone comes in that you've authorized and says, oh, I'd like the car. The car turns itself on. The car GPSs itself to that person's house. They drive around, it comes back, parks in the driveway, and they deposit money into your account. Like, wow, holy jumping. Like,
Yeah.
it's that he didn't just invent self-driving cars. He built into it a reciprocal relationship between the customer, the company, and the world that was mutually beneficial to all parties. And I think that's just amazing. And he did that in more than one case. There was another example, I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah. But actually, and in that same video, he talks about magic and how technology is magic. And that was another thing that was like, yes, exactly, it's everything. Like if anybody told us, you know, and he uses the example of any, you know, however many 100 years ago, if someone said you were going to be flying, they would burn you at the stake, you know, and now we're up in the planes, you know, and it's that kind of thing that we are, you know, we take a lot for granted. And if we can open up to the magic of pure possibility, it's going to take us to realms that we can't imagine right now, and that we are like, it isn't step by step and it isn't a linear progression from getting from A to B. And yes, you might be thought of as mad, but if you've got it in you and you've got that spark of creation in you, you've got to just follow it and see where it takes you. And the other thing about that video that I was saying to Sarah is he does his day broken up in 5-minute chunks. And you know, and he won't have more than X number of people in a meeting, because each thing is very efficient and very kind of, you know, focused. And I think that's part of this hyperspeed creation as well, that whatever you're at work on in that minute, you're at work on. But then when you move on to the next, you could even be a different person, you know, you left it all behind and you're in the clear space again, now working with something else fresh and clean. And I think that's part of how this works, that you are, it's like this and then this and then this and then this, and you can be many things all at once. You don't have to pick a profession. And I see that in kids now, like they're not picking one thing, they are multi-creational in terms of what they do.
Yeah, you and I are both multi-creational. That's who we are.
Yeah. I was just setting up my new company, and I'm like, can I add, how many categories can I add? And she's like, well, you can have 5, but don't worry, you can just choose something general. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. So I'm like, artistic creation and something miscellaneous services or something I put, because I'm like, I can't start listing, like, you know.
Yeah, I get that. There are such neat businesses around at the moment, you know, because the whole coronavirus pandemic thing has caused people to innovate in a way that's just so amazing to watch. So I'm really excited by it, and all the, you know, the interesting things that people are creating. It's just so exciting. I love it.
Yeah. And the little things are the big things, like, you know, like, do it even if it's a small thing that feels completely insignificant, but you feel like doing it.
Yeah.
It can turn into all sorts, and it comes from the purity of you. So whatever happens, letting that expression out is going to do, you know, it's going to shift everything everywhere, like for you and everyone, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, amazing.
We should probably stop now, right?
Yeah, I think so too. Let's just, for anybody who's watching, just if you just join Ushman, and we'll just line up and they can join us get the sense of it, just the feel of it. Okay, so. That feels great. For me, it's one of those, I become the field, I supercharge the field. It's so interesting. I love it so much. I have so much fun. And then it all rushes back through me. I don't call it back through me, I gift it. And then it just fills me up with delight almost. It's a kind of bubbling delight. Speaking of which, one last thing. We were saying on the call on Tuesday that we did, a group of us, that there's this bubbly excitement in the air. Something's coming, something wonderful. I don't have any more to say about it than that. I mean, we are already in an amazing place right now where the world is turning into, but you can still feel something really exciting is coming. So, yahoo!
I agree, definitely.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing, and wishing you big magic. So, have fun.
Yeah, bye.